All right, what's up, gravel groupies? This is it, third and final episode of our mini series on some of the bigger gravel events in the country. We've sat down and spoken with a few riders who have gone out and tackled some of the most iconic gravel events in the nation, and this is the final installment with two of my very close friends and teammates, so I'm excited to get you into that one. Before we start, we'll hit sponsors. We're sponsored by Legacy Bikes. That's a Legacy with an I, Legaci bikes.com. At Legacy Bikes, they'll take care of all your balanced bike needs for your little one. So get them up on two wheels and get them going with Legacy Bikes. We're also sponsored by NYSBRA, the New York State Bicycle Racing Association. NYSBRA takes care of all the behind-the-scenes work for grants and upgrades and permits and officials and all of that really tough stuff that has to happen to make racing work in New York, and they do a phenomenal job. So show them some love, follow them on Facebook, or hit up their website for lots of great resources. All right, so final installment here of our gravel mini series with two of my really good friends and teammates, and two guys I really look up to and love to train with and love to have a beer with, and just I can't say enough about who they are as people and as who they are as riders. So we went out and sat down with them after they kicked my ass all over Dansville on a gravel ride. We sat down and had a beer, and they told me about their experiences with Rebecca's and DK. So with this episode, I sit down with Rory Heinlein and Pete Hoag. Pete's done DK for the first time this year and did Rebecca's last year, and then he took Rory with him and got him into Rebecca's this year, where Rory had maybe one of the best races he's ever had, certainly endurance races. He's a crit racer, and kind of took his first delve into longer gravel and had a really great day at Rebecca's, and was really proud of him to see him there. Certainly Pete also talking about that experience at Rebecca's, as well as what it was like to do that iconic DK and to do that for the first time earlier this year. Both these guys, they feed off of each other. They train with each other. They have a great relationship in terms of balancing each other out. So it's really interesting to listen to them kind of talk about the experiences they had and sort of where they're going with those things. So without any more from me, please check out my really good friends from Once Again Racing, Pete and Rory, on the iconic gravel races of Rebecca's and DK.
You'll never go out on a training ride and dig that deep.
Awesome. We won gold.
They're life rides.
I'm like, dude, I'm still figuring this out.
Lose sight of the fact that it's whoever goes faster.
This isn't a road race. This isn't a mountain bike race.
The sensei of sprint, Todd Shesky.
My eyes are coming out of my head. Just get in here.
Start. So we are in Dansville at Battle Street Brewery. Thanks to them for giving us a little space here to shoot after you guys kicked my ass all over Dansville. We got some cool GoPro footage that we'll put together on the website so you can see where these guys train and sort of some of the regular routes that they're on and some of the terrain they're at. So, but today we're going to talk a little bit about Rebecca's and DK and sort of what those experiences have been like. Let's start with Rebecca's and work back.
Sure.
All right. So, how many? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. It's Labor Day weekend. Rebecca's was a lot different than I did it last year. It was
I was told it was going to be easy.
It was really hard. It was even harder than last year.
Harder. Well, yeah. So this is your second time doing Rebecca's.
Yeah.
It was your first time.
Yeah.
Yep. Rebecca decided to throw in an extra section this year. Actually, 2 extra sections. Unfortunately, the one on the way back was an extra 5 miles, basically single track on a gravel bike, which was terrifying.
Came in at about 85 miles.
85 miles?
Yeah.
When you were completely toast.
Yeah.
And,
How much elevation?
It was only like 5,600.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, out there wasn't a big deal, but twice we went over 8,000 feet in elevation. So
you're
you knew
yeah,
it, and it was a super, super hot day.
Yeah,
was
90, high 90s. So
Yeah.
it was warm.
So the challenge comes, the elevation is hard, not that hard, the heat's hard, but the technically Rebecca's is difficult.
Physically exhausting, obviously, on your upper body,
Yeah.
which is a strange dynamic, I thought.
Sure.
Because my shoulders, my elbows, I mean, I was just beat up. And the more fatigued I got, the more weight I put on the handlebars.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
It was washboarded really bad. So as you got farther and farther into it, you were leaning more and more on the handlebars and trying to find some place to get your hands where your shoulders could rest. And so the last 40 miles maybe, we're just like trying to find some place to get comfortable.
Would you run a different setup if you did it again? A higher handlebars, bigger tires, something along those lines?
Yeah,
You ever
so
leave some of that?
after we got done, I double wrapped my handlebars. So, having the handlebars double wrapped, maybe, a little more vertical. There's definitely some things we would change up or will change up when we go back next year.
Going back? Yeah.
I think we're going back.
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean,
Bigger, what tires do you run? You guys don't run super big.
I run 40s.
40s,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So,
those will work,
yeah.
alright?
Yeah.
yeah.
Tire selection was good. I mean, it was
Yeah.
dry. I run in WTB Nanos. They were
Mhm.
awesome. No problem there. 40s. But it was just so washboarded.
Dusty.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to eat a lot of dirt. I mean, we looked like we were in a motorcycle dirt bike race when we got done. I mean,
Yes, I've
that's
seen the pictures,
Oh,
yeah.
man, we're just like, it was tough. I mean, the same thing with DK. Same thing.
Right.
It's dusty, hard. But Rebecca's race, that's a cool event. I mean, you're talking 600 people on the start line. Once again, Ketchum, Idaho transformed into a cycling mecca.
Yeah.
I mean, to go to these events is so cool because just to get caught up in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
the whole town was shut down. It is the whole town for the weekend.
Yeah.
They had lots of support. It was really good stuff.
Yeah.
So you've been to a few big gravel events, which are sort of the focus of what we're doing here with a number of people. This is your first sort of big gravel event. So talk to me a little bit, Rory, about the difference between this gravel event and other cycling events that you've attended. Because you've definitely attended some other big cycling events, but this was kind of the first time you've been to like this national level gravel. So what do you see there that's maybe different than some of the other really big road events that you've been to?
So it was really well set up. Like I said, it was really well supported. The whole town was involved, and they had lots of space. It was really well organized. Everything was just kind of clicking. There was no drama. Everything was ironed out. It was really smooth. What was interesting about the race is they had timing mats at various points, so to make sure that everybody did the entire loop. So and there's loops off of the main road, off the main trail from last year. There was a couple out and backs. So making sure everyone was doing the out and backs was interesting. All of a sudden it's like, wait, we're doing timing mats and we're 40 miles in. And it was like, oh, click. Because afterwards we realized that not everyone was doing the whole loop and some people were cutting off chunks. But I think, what was amazing was just the sheer mass of people going up the road. 600 people heading into the mountains, and everyone was in good spirits. The people at the aid stations are really well supported, had tons of food, tons of support out there. It was really good. It was epic, long, hard. But having said that, 7 hours goes by pretty quick. Didn't seem it at the time.
That's what I've said before. I've done these long races, and people say, "Oh my God, how could you be on the bike for that many hours?" And I'm going, honestly, this is going to sound extremely strange to you, but it seemed like I was just out for a ride. And it's over already, I always say to myself. And I didn't say that after DK, I'm sorry. I was pretty washed out after that, but Rebecca seemed to go quick.
It did.
I mean, we got back and, we rode the whole thing together. We said before the race started, Rory was stronger than I was, but he said, let's ride it together. So we did it. And it was
Rory
cool.
kept joking before he was going that he was going to Fondo it. I knew that was like...
Well, we didn't actually
I
find
knew that probably wasn't going to happen, but that was a running joke, right?
We were sticking it to it, pretty fair, but it was not a super day for me by any stretch. But one thing that we didn't mention, that at the start of the race, we were freezing.
Okay.
I mean, 8 o'clock in the morning in Ketchum, and it's, 47?
Yeah.
Which the year before it was 39.
Yeah.
Which was you know.
And it was how warm by the time we got done?
It's in the
Well,
high 90s.
when we finished and we got back to our vehicle, I think we started the vehicle at 97,
Yeah.
which was,
Yeah.
50
I'm not
degrees
100%
in
sure it
one
was
day.
that warm. It was crazy
Yeah.
during the race.
Wow.
It was tough.
I think what made the 7 hours go by was there was different segments of it, right? So there's the first 12 miles that's uphill. So you're over that. It's like, all right, you got that hour behind you. And then down in the Copper Basin was a loop. It's like, okay, I got the loop done. So it was like biting off chunks of it. It wasn't like going straight up the road for 100 miles.
So mentally you're working through
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. And I like that, whether,
Yeah.
certainly with riding, it's like,
You break the race down.
yeah, you're like, I'm
into-
just hitting this point, and then
Yeah.
you're hitting that next point. Yeah, that makes good sense. How about training, especially for you, Rory? You do a lot of crits throughout the summer.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah,
is
I
a
kind of
lot
like 45
different.
races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, did you have to change the training? Like, what was that for you, especially this being your first?
Yeah,
sort of big
I didn't
round?
really. So I think I had enough base miles in and been doing enough riding 6 days a week and racing all summer. I didn't specifically train for this aside from coming down to Dansville and getting beat up by Pete every weekend,
Right.
which is pretty good training. But it went pretty well. So we tacked on. I was used to doing 2 or 3 hour rides, so it was like, okay, we're going to double that.
Right.
I don't know that I would do specific training, but we would probably do the race differently next year than we did this year. Definitely some changes to our tactics. For one, we didn't keep really good track of where we were, so we thought we were way farther back near the end of the race. We thought we were getting crushed, so we were just kind of cash it in and ride on home.
Yeah.
And come to find out, we really weren't. We're still hanging around top 100. So I think we've talked about it with a little bit of planning, changing up how we run the race a little, that we could hopefully make top 50.
Yeah.
And kind of that's what we're toying with for next
Would that
year.
be in terms of training beforehand, or like efficiency during the race?
During the race.
Yeah.
So staying on top of the nutrition, staying on top of the water,
Hydration.
getting your nutrition under control so that you got,
good.
so you got cash in the bank.
Yeah, and that's where he's so much ahead of me on, and I've been racing a lot longer, but, if you're not going to be smart, you better be strong kind of mentality, I guess I went with, which, I'm not going to deny it. I can put my head down and just ride, for a week,
Right.
but maybe not efficiently.
Yeah.
I could do better. And the hydration part, it was just, I was horrible, I mean, when we get to DK, that was like my hugest downfall,
Was the hydration
Oh my
part?
God,
Yeah.
Once again, another 90-some degree day. You think in endurance racing, we've talked about this extensively, especially on our ride back to Salt Lake, is getting off the bike at a 50-mile mark to walk over to coolers and fill up your thing and move your body around rather than just try to grind on the bike.
Yeah.
That what you gain from doing that, I mean, it's common sense.
Right.
Yeah.
You can get off the bike, go over, fill your stuff up, move around, get on the bike and go, and you're much more efficient and you're faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can take hand-up water bottles going through the aid stations if you want. We stopped at a couple of them, and then we skipped the important one. We skipped the one that was around the 70-mile mark, 65, 70-mile mark. We skipped that, and that was kind of a game changer because we were far enough into the pain cave that kind of pushed us over the edge a little bit. So we ran sort of low on water, and so the plan for next year would be to stop, enjoy not stop for 10 minutes, but stop for 4 or 5 minutes, get off the bike, stretch your feet, loosen your shoes up, go through some of that, grab a little bit of Red Bull, make sure you're refilled, and grab some more.
Taking
grab
the
some
time on
bananas.
that and saves you time.
Yeah, because we had people come flying by us.
No
So there was people that were in the rest areas, and then they would come by us on the road, and it's like, oh, they look rested.
Right.
And we hit some of them with just, I think, hitting them all and taking the time to squeeze out of the rest areas of the aid stations what you need to get out of them.
Yeah. Brendan, which will be part of this audio when we put everything together, the conversation with Brendan, he talks about the efficiency of the rest stops and how to use those things. And for him, he's at the sharp end of the race for sure.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he jokes about was, not joking, he's serious, but one of the things he talks about was, taking the top off the water coolers and just dunking their bottles so that they can get through faster.
Yeah.
Using, but strategically thinking, coming from the road world,
Yeah.
he says too, he's used to hand-ups and people not attacking during aid stations. And he's like, that's all out the window here. You got to be more efficient. So whether you're at the sharp end of the race like he is, whether you're shooting for that top 100 or top 50 like you guys are, or whether you're just trying to finish the thing, how you use your aid stations is really important. It's going to be different for different riders or different levels, but
it's a whole different dynamic in endurance racing, especially endurance gravel.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done endurance 200-mile road racing, and it's all hand-ups. Like you say, it's road racing.
Right.
But on gravel, like in Rebecca's, you couldn't just ride down during the race on any road in the race and just sit up on your bike and take your hands off the handlebars, or you would be...
Yeah, you'd end up in the ditch.
You'd be off the bike.
Yeah. I think that, the first aid station that I went into, I was out in front of Pete, and he didn't see me duck into the aid station. So I went in. Luckily, everybody's getting Gatorade and getting the mixed stuff. No one was going after water. And I had all my stuff organized. So really quick, filled up with water, filled my bottles, jammed the back of my bike, like 2 minutes flat, I'm back on the road. But he didn't know I was in there. And it's like, now I'm like 2 minutes plus behind him on the road.
And I keep seeing somebody up the road that looked like his kid. And I'm thinking, man, he's drilling it. Maybe I'll try a little harder to get going. I was not feeling super.
Yeah.
So I'm going, and my business was near perfect. And I'm looking up there, and I'm looking. Finally, I turn around and look. I says, well, hell, that's him coming up behind me. I finally sat up, and I says, son of a gun.
You're chasing Rory's ghost.
You look at kids from a few hundred meters, and it's like, I don't know.
Well, especially when you're suffering too. You're
suffering.
At Rebecca's, there was a lot of time when we were nose to tail in a group of 10 bikes.
Yeah.
And just, it was like a road ride. We were riding 25, 30 miles an hour plus, just drilling it down these roads in high gear, running a pace line, which was pretty interesting. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Pretty fast.
That's cool. Yeah.
There's some sections there where you're flying on the bike. I mean, it's like, you're going along on gravel roads, in the high 20 mile an hour stuff. It's pretty cool. On a pace line. And it's one thing I can say, versus Kanza versus Rebecca's, there's a hell of a lot more competition in Rebecca's.
Yeah.
I think it's that dynamic of 100 miles. I see it drawing more people that are hardcore racers versus, I don't know how Kanza picks their people, and they have people from all 50 states and 28 countries. They're doing this whole big thing, and they draw more people, but they can only take so many. But Rebecca's, I would say most of the people are from the Northwest, and cycling culture out there is the real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the real thing. In Rebecca's race this year, the guy that finished second place was 50 years old. The guy that finished third overall was 51.
Yeah.
We're looking at our age group and you go, oh my God, this guy finished freaking almost 2 hours ahead of me?
Right.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? These guys were just absolutely drilling it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about DK then, as we kind of transition there, and then I want to get some more about Rory's experience too with Rebecca's. But so tell us, DK, this was your first year doing it. DK is like the crown jewel of gravel racing in the country, and you did there's various distances, but you did the 200 mile, which is sort of the race, right? That's always it's like I don't know if it's the original distance. I don't know. I know they've done it for a while. I don't know if it's always been 200 mile. The 200 mile one is sort of like the one.
There's
some people doing the XL.
That's their gem.
Yeah, and there's some people doing some shorter ones, but 200 miles is sort of where the big things happen. What was that experience like?
Well, I figured, if I'm going to go to Kansas, why not do the 200? Driving to Kansas 17 hours in my van, which was horrible. And then you get there, and the transformation of a small city into this bicycling mecca for a weekend is jaw-dropping. Everything is bicycles. Everywhere you go, the entire city embraces it. Like, I've never been to an event. My sister went with me, and we're just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
It was all cool until I did the race. Like I said on my little video thing there, I never have done anything that hard in my life. I mean, for being on a bicycle, I was actually in the saddle for 13 and a half hours. And once again, saving grace is what Rory explained, is I broke it into segments. I can remember during that, the first 40 miles I was flying. I just was loving it. The roads it was just awesome. Well, until I went into dehydration, which is my weak suit, is hydrate, and then I couldn't eat. I did DK 200 on 2 power bars. Because I couldn't eat once I got dehydrated. So I literally was all day long on 2 power bars, and I could barely put them down. I just knew I had to eat. I ran out of water before every stop. I had leg cramps for over 90 miles, which was, I can't even explain how horrible that is. People have had leg cramps, will try riding a bike for 90 miles with them.
Right.
Every time I had to stand up on a little incline, people say, well, it's flat in Kansas. Well, it's 9,500 feet of climb, and some of the climbs are steep as heck. They might not have been long, but when you have leg cramps and you have to stand up, I was nearly in tears.
Yeah, 9,500 feet is not a flat race.
It was over 202 miles. Their week thing in the DK, we had a 90-plus degree day. They had 3 feed zones.
And on 200 miles.
Yeah. So, Education Foundation Pro Cycling Team was there. And, I passed Taylor Finney 7 times as he was trying to change a flat tire, which was kind of comical. Because I don't think he's used to changing tires.
Right.
He's always had somebody do that. This is a true adventure race. You either have another rider help you or you do it yourself.
Right.
Which he always had somebody stop and help him. Not me.
Do you like that end of it? Do you like having to do your own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, without team. We had no, I can honestly say over 202 miles of the DK, I didn't have 6 cars pass me in 202 miles. So we're talking remote. We are talking remote farm roads, which is, the dynamic is cool, except you don't realize you go hours without seeing a house, without seeing people.
Damn.
And all you see is people racing bicycles, and they're all friendly. Everybody is having a good time, even though we're in this pain cave that I can't explain how hard that. Well, anyway, the greatest part of the race is I got through the center 100 miles, and I can remember looking down at my Garmin, and around 118 miles, it seemed like for hours. And I kept thinking down there, I must have been losing it, with dehydration. I kept thinking, maybe I quit. I'm riding my bike, and it seems like I'm covering ground, but it won't change. It won't change. At the 120, well, anyway, getting back to Education Foundation, they pulled in a water trailer and hooked to this little farm in the middle of nowhere. They hooked to a hydrant, and they had all these. Well, I was pretty dehydrated, but they were all really beautiful girls.
Mermaids.
Yeah,
It was all sheep, man.
And they had that trailer, and it was like beer spigots, only water.
Yeah.
So you could fill your bottles. And this was not in the race program.
Right.
So they just went out there because I think the day. Well, anyway, these gals were all there with wet, cold towels, and when you pulled up, they put them around your neck. I was just so thankful at that point because I'd been out of water for a long time. So I filled my bottles, and I thought, okay, at 121 miles, that was about 100 miles. At 121 miles is our water oasis. It wasn't a true feed zone. There's only two true feed zones.
That's insane.
So,
I can't believe they.
Yeah. So the water oasis was in a little bit of a town, and oh my God, I was in so much agony. I got to the 121 mile mark. I pulled in there, and they just had water there. Well, I was trying to eat this whatever Clif Bar I had. It was horrible. And there was these nice people all sitting around lawn chairs, and I said, "Could I have a lawn chair?" And they said, "Yeah." So we're sitting. So I hung out there for 40 minutes. I lost there. I was just laying on the ground. I was just waiting for somebody to catch me in,
Yeah.
And I got up and got going, and my next stop was 150 mile mark, and it was really, really hot from that 121 miles to 150 miles. And we actually routed this on a greenway trail, which was the first shade I saw all day. Obviously, trees are fairly scarce.
Mm-hmm.
I got there, and my sister packed me in ice. She goes, I saw what they were doing with riders coming in. Packed me in ice, and poured a gallon of water over my head. Boom, last 50 miles, I was a new man. I was just rocking. I felt great. Last few creeks we crossed, there's no bridges in Kansas.
Yeah.
No bridges. The last one, I just got off and walked through with my shoes and everything, just walked through the river. I look up and down the river, and there's just bodies like it was a war zone. People just laid down. And I'm thinking, wow, there's a bunch more places I'm moving up today. But I didn't know if they were alive or not. And I guess at that point I really didn't care. So it was cool.
Cool.
It was
So tell me about, for you, like, Rebecca's was your first big gravel race,
Yes.
right? And then you did DK, and then you went back to Rebecca's. So you did
Yeah.
Rebecca's last year. So before that, for 20 plus years, you've been racing road, and you've raced all kinds of road races all over the place.
Yeah.
And really last year, before doing Rebecca's, you were injured, not riding a lot, not racing a lot. What is the transformation of going from being this, 20-year road racer to this gravel stuff done for you? Like, why? How's that?
It's just re-inspired me. I mean, I was at the end of my road racing with injuries. Like Rory, I just love the criteriums. I raced him. At 140 pounds, I got pushed off all the time. I'm trying to race down in Philadelphia with 175-pound guys leaning on me. I'm getting pushed off the road over curbs. I mean, I've been there. I've done it all. And I thought, I got back into the gravel or started doing the gravel, and I says, this is where I want to be. I mean, that's my future. I'm racing against a course rather than rubbing elbows. My injuries are, at this point, I'm just lucky to ride bikes, but...
Is your training shifted from the way you trained before to then? Or
I don't train specific. In the last 2 years, I haven't done an interval. I haven't done anything. If I did one, it was just because I felt like going hard up a hill.
Because we're the town sign.
Or a town sign. We still toy with each other, but I'm not coached. I don't do anything. I just ride my bike now for fun. And, my results show that too. But I can still ride a bike all day. That's cool. Yeah.
So tell me about the dynamic between you two, because I'm really interested in that. The way you guys kind of feed off of each other, the differences in experience, the differences in like actually taking care of nutrition versus I'm gonna eat a bar and drink 1 bottle of water for 200 miles.
Rory's way more high.
How does this play off of each other for you guys?
Yeah, so I keep a couple of things. So I keep abusing him on the nutrition side to try and get him to come over from the dark side and come into the light with me. And he's going to, and he's going to be a whole lot stronger for it, of course, right? Especially in these long races. So for me, right, so just coming up through the racing and starting late, I looked up to these guys, right? So as I started racing, there's these Dansville guys that are, all this and all that. They've been around for 20 years. So I just went up and introduced myself to Pete and Dave one day at a race, and I was like, hey, you're like the Hoag boys, right? So I introduced myself, and then really quickly we just started hanging out together, kind of gelled. And so it's been good for me. He's a good mentor. Right, so he's done it all, done a lot of racing, and for me to have something for an example, right, to use him for an example, and has a lot of success behind him, right, and I had no success, and still have no success, but it gives me something to strive for, right, so it was definitely a good example for him. It gives me a bunch of training, so, And
the thing with us, like, we've been hanging out for a couple of years and riding and stuff, and, Rory can be too calculated in a race, and I'm 100% the opposite. So we are like this far apart when it comes to like a road race. I says, dude, go for it. What do you got to lose? It's a road race. Go for it. If it doesn't work out, just hide in the pack and recover. And he's like, man, yeah. And he's come part way, and he's had great success with it. Yeah. Where I'm a seat of the pants kind of guy, and but 100% on the nutrition and the tech side of training, he's right, and I know him. And now when I'm into the endurance stuff, there's no question I got to work on all of that stuff because I love it.
Yeah, it's been cool to watch you guys feed off of each other and compete and train with each other and bust each other's balls all the time. But you can see both of you guys grow from that.
We had one great trip to Rebecca's this year. I mean, we did a whole week of fun, and I haven't laughed that hard, and I can't tell you how long. We had some really good times for that week. We traveled up to Idaho, and it was just good.
He had his first day of fishing ever. Took him fly fishing in some blue ribbon fly fishing waters with a fishing guide. Never fished in his life. first fish he hooks into is a 22-inch brown trout. So it's pretty. It's like
And I lost it because I didn't know what I was doing.
yeah, but it was amazing. So we did have a great
It
trip.
beat me up for a while.
Yeah, and we've decided we've named our vacations. Like people do vacation, people do staycation. We do paincation.
There you go.
So we've done 2 or 3 trips this year already. They're just like paincations.
We hiked up a mountain to a silver mine one day, which was actually was pretty tough. And then we did a huge mountain bike ride on my kids' downhill bikes that were in such disrepair. It was embarrassing.
Wait, a Hoag had a bike that wasn't working right? I've never seen that.
Rory was wrapping like spokes around each other in the back. I had never broken one, you know? And he goes, you realize your frame's broke? And I'm like, well,
yeah. In the first like quarter mile, it's like something's going on. I got to stop and wrap a spoke around the spoke, and it was like this little BMX.
We had a lot of laughs.
thing.
I mean, I look forward to the next trip. You know, we talking about doing a trip to the Azore Islands in the spring, and mountain biking and road riding. Just a cool trip.
Yeah, so that does. So you're gonna do unpaved here. When's that?
Yeah, so that's
October 13th.
Yeah, so we got about like less than a month.
95
before that. So
gravel.
that's your next big sort of gravel, which is maybe not on quite in that iconic national scale, but I don't think it's far off. I think it's a growing event.
I think that's what they're shooting for, right?
Yeah.
So
800 riders.
Yeah.
And he sold it out over 3 months ago.
Yeah, and I think Ted King's going. I think there's going to be some.
Allison Tetrick.
Yeah, so it's definitely emerging into that same stratosphere as DK and Land Run and some of those big national events. So you have that
And
experience.
it's close.
Yeah.
Like I say, I recommend, people race and do this. I've done it for years and years, obviously, but it's throw a goal out there that's out of your comfort zone. I mean, obviously DK, that was so out of my comfort zone. That was very uncomfortable, but throw it out there and do it, because you look at all the dopey vacations people take, and I mean, they might not be dopey to them. I think they're dopey. But I would, you're a bike racer, so go to one of these iconic events. So you're not going to place. You're going to do it. You're going to have fun. You're going to meet cool people. Like there's people I met in DK that follow me on Strava now. I met him during the race, and I didn't know it till I saw him on Strava. I couldn't even remember the name. I didn't know my own name when I finished. Which is cool. You make friendships that way with people that do stuff you do, and I think that's really neat.
Any big bucket list ones you guys know and you want to shoot for in the next year or so?
I'm going to go back and do some intelligentsia, maybe do a whole week next year, hopefully.
So that'd be road stuff.
Road stuff?
Yeah.
And we're probably going to go back and do Rebecca's, I think.
I haven't told Rory what we're doing.
You haven't told him you're doing Land Run, Trans Iowa, DK.
I think I'll go back to Kanza.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Coast to coast?
I would consider coast to coast in Michigan, which is a 200-mile race.
I can't believe we're having this conversation. I'm on a crit race. I want to do crit race.
But
I want to race for 45 minutes.
What I haven't told him, he wants to road race. Mm-hmm. So I haven't really clued him in on what he's doing next year.
Right.
But we're going to go back to Rebecca's, which is on a Sunday after Labor Day.
I know it's coming.
And then the next Saturday, we're going to do Little Toja Classic, which is a road race. Mm-hmm. It's 206 miles long, which I've done 3 times, and it's an epic event. I mean, it is so cool and so fast, which is just scary, So that is a cool thing, to finish in Jackson Hole, come in over the banner after 206 miles. And you think we did Rebecca's, and 100 miles took 7 hours, and in 9.5 hours, you're done with 206 on the road. Gives you the different dynamic between road and gravel, how the grind, they call them gravel grinders for a reason,
Right.
Where the road is fun, but it's way easier. It's way easier.
All right, perfect. Well, I think we'll end on that note. That's good stuff, guys. Our beers are empty, so
Yeah.
I think it's time to get a little refill on this and get some fun. That's good stuff.
Thanks. Feel like the end of the ride today? That's pretty cool.